it's been over 6 months since I started my Microlocs journey. And one thing that shocked me the most, when I mean the most, guys, is the expense required to maintain your Microlocs. Like, I would see cute videos here and there saying, oh, my reties cost this, my installation cost this, but I didn't see any video where someone painstakingly took out the time to tell us start to finish how much it will cost us every single year to maintain your Microlocs. Like, you guys keep hearing, oh, Microlocs is low maintenance, but how much does it actually cost? So if you would like to know the full cost of your Microlocs every single year, in case you're planning to start, then this video is definitely for you. Please keep on watching. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer here from Her Crown. You are so welcome. So as I said in the beginning, I'm going to be breaking down the full cost, but because I know that different countries work with different currencies, I'm going to be doing this in pounds so that those in the UK can know how much it will cost. And then if you use dollars, you can just convert it. And then I'm going to be using Naira. So what I found is that usually the cost is kind of similar between the US and the UK. However, in Nigeria, the cost will be similar to those in Ghana, in Uganda, all the African countries. So this is why I'm doing it in these two levels. So let us start with the cost of doing Microlocs or Sisterlocs in the UK. So I asked my sister this question. So this is not from Google. This is from experience. So first of all, it costs about £700, or let's say £600 to £700 for the installation. But don't be scared. This is the most you would spend on your micro or Sisterlocs in one sitting, right? So you would spend about £700. So you know that this is definitely an investment in your hair. After the £700, you would have to do reties. Now, reties range from 6 times a year to 8 times a year, depending on if you're doing it every 6 weeks or if you're doing it every 8 weeks, which is 2 months. So if you're doing it every 8 weeks, it means that you'll be doing reties 6 times in a year. And for those reties, you pay around £50 to £80, depending on how many locs you have and depending on your loctician, really. So if you do your reties 6 times in a year and you're paying £50 every single time you go for your reties, then the cost will come up to £300 every single year. So it means that if you take out your install, maybe you've already installed your Microlocs, it means that every single year you'd have to bring out £300 to retire your hair for a full year. So it depends on your pockets. You'd have to determine if that's fair enough or if that's too much. However, if you're going for a 6 weeks appointment and you retire your hair every 6 weeks, it means that you'll be paying £400 every year to retire your hair, because that means that you'll be retiring your hair 8 times every single year. So do the maths. So it means that if you're at the lower end of the spectrum, you would either be spending £1,100 on the first year of your install, and subsequently you'll be spending £300, or you'll be spending £1,100 on the first year of your install, and subsequently you'll be spending £400. So obviously you know that these numbers are subject to inflation. So in the next year, that amount for the retie may reach £100, who knows? So that's for that end. Now, if you're on the higher end of the spectrum, as far you have so much money, and or maybe the locticians in your area cost more than those in other areas, maybe you live in London and whatnot, the price will be £80, right? So if you retire your hair 6 times every year, because you retire your hair on a 2 monthly basis, the first amount you'll be spending is £480 for your reties. Right? Then if you go on a 6 weeks appointment, it means you'll be retiring your hair 8 times in a year. You'll be spending £640 every year on your retie. So now the total would now be £1,180 if you retire your hair every 8 weeks. It will also come up to £1,340 if you retire your hair on a 6 weeks basis, which would now be 8 times in a single year. So this is the maths. Guys, in this calculation, I didn't even add on like the oils you would use if you use oils on your hair. I didn't add on shampoo. And the reason why I didn't add this is that the price for these things are very variable. Like you could see someone using black soap, you could see someone using Shea Moisture, and price rates differ so much that I just feel like it's miscellaneous enough for us to just leave it as part of the cost. So yes, there'll still be some bills when it comes to your shampoo and your oils, but it's not that much. It's enough to not put in this budget that you're about to make for yourself for your hair. Let's just say once you take off the initial £700 that you'll be spending to install your hair, you'll be spending within £300 to £640 every single year on your hair. So is that too much or is that enough? You need to leave it down in the comment section below so that we will know. And are you shocked by these prices? If you are, comment down below because we're really seeing something. And stay tuned to the end so that we can decide if it's just better to carry your loose natural hair or if it's better to lock your hair. Now, let us go on to the Naira part of this. Now, it's not the equivalent because we all know that labor is kind of cheaper here in Africa than it is over there in Western countries. So if you would like to know the Naira cost, please stick around. So let's jump right in. So for the Naira equivalent, I decided to put it in three ranges. There is the low budget, the mid-range, and the high budget. So let's talk about installation. For the low budget, you'll be spending around 10,000 naira, and I'll explain why it's this low. So if you know that you can start your hair, your microlocs with just single braids or twists, and you don't even need to retie it on the first go at it. You can just literally braid it or twist it. Now, if you go to your regular salon and ask them for really small braids or really small twists, they are not going to charge you more than 10,000. In fact, that is the route I use. Yes. For my install, I went really low budget and I paid just 8,000 naira to install this microlocs, and they just twisted it and interlocked the roots, right? So that's why it's really that cheap. The moment you tell them it's locs, they may, so that's really low budget. However, if you're going mid-range, you're going to an actual loctician, the person will charge you at least 50,000 naira. So that will be for the mid-range. Now, for the high budget, you will be paying at least 100,000 naira to install your hair. Now, let's talk about reties. Now, no matter how low budget you want to go, the truth is reties cost a lot of money here in our currency. So if you're going really low budget or really affordable, you'll be paying at least 15,000 naira every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks to retire your hair. Also, if you're going mid-range, you'll be paying at least 25,000 naira every 6 weeks to 8 weeks to retire your hair. And if you're going really high budget, you'll be paying at least 50,000 naira every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks to retire your hair. So now let's do the maths. If you're paying 15,000 naira every 6 weeks to retire your hair, it means that you're retiring your hair 8 times in a year. And that amount will become 120,000 naira in a full year. However, if you're retiring your hair every 8 weeks, which is 2 months interval, then it means that you'll be retiring your hair 6 times in a year, and that would be 90,000 naira. So it's definitely cheaper to retire your hair every 2 months than every 6 weeks. So if you're going to be retiring your hair 6 times in a year, which is a 2 months interval, it means that it would cost you about 150,000 naira to retire your hair. So this is the mid-range level. Now, if you have a very high budget for your hair and you're using 50,000 naira every single retie, then if you're retiring your hair 6 times in a year, which is an 8-week interval, you'll be paying at least 300,000 naira every single year. However, if you are on an 8-week interval, which is 6 times a year, you'll be paying at least 400,000 naira every single year. For the very first year, if you're on the low budget end of the spectrum and you're doing your hair, in the very first year, you'll be spending at least 100,000 naira to 130,000 naira in maintenance. However, in subsequent years, you'll be spending either 90,000 naira to 120,000 naira. This is dependent on how many times you retire your hair in that particular year. Now, if you're a mid-ranger and the very first year, you'll be spending 200 to 250,000 naira every single year. However, if you take off that initial install, subsequent years, you'll be spending either 150,000 to 200,000 naira every single year. Now, if you are on the high budget spectrum, you would be spending 400 to 500,000 naira every single year. However, if you take out that initial install, you'll be spending about 300,000 to 400,000 every single year. So I hope you all were able to follow this mathematics that I just did, and I hope I was able to break it down to you guys as much as possible. Now, to the big question in everybody's mind, is it cheaper to just have your hair loose natural and then you braid here and there, you wear wigs here and there, or is it better and is it cheaper to have microlocs? The answer is that it varies. Now, one thing I know for sure is that microlocs has a higher direct cost, in the sense that every 6 weeks and every 8 weeks, depending on your interval, you know that a certain amount must leave your account to be able to maintain a very healthy and thriving microlocs. However, if you want to talk about wigs, right now in the market, we're seeing that wigs cost 500,000, 100 million, okay, not 100 million, but like 1 million naira, 1.2 million naira. There are even hairs that cost 5 million naira. So if we want to talk about actual costs, we'll say that loose naturals, those that do braids, those that wear wigs, spend a lot more money, right, to buy these things. Even in braiding your hair, you're going to spend like 20 something thousand naira for each braid, a braid that you're going to lose in, mind you. However, we'll say that once you get those wigs, like once you've gotten the 1 million naira wig or 100,000 naira wig or 300,000 naira wig, you could keep wearing that wig for years and years and years, especially if you buy a really good wig, which means that the only money you have to spend on your hair is the money to braid your hair, which doesn't cost more than 2,000 naira or 5,000 naira, depending on where you live. And you could carry that cornrow for like a full month and just be wearing your wigs. So in that case, we'll say that there's no direct cost put into your hair at that point. So you can have a really broke hair and just keep, you can even braid the hair by yourself, right? And just throw on the wig and nobody will know. However, if at that 6 weeks mark or that 8 week mark, you don't have the money for your retie, it's going to tell on the integrity of your hair, right? So we'll say that it varies. If you've not bought those really expensive hairs and you want to buy it the same time that you want to maybe compare interlocking your hair or installing your hair, we'll say that the price is kind of similar or even more expensive to buy those wigs. However, the running cost of your locks is really expensive. So in my opinion, to be honest, it's kind of more expensive. What do you guys think? I would say it's more expensive, but I would like to hear your opinion in the comment section below. So with this, I have come to the end of this video. I hope it was really insightful. Let me know if this is similar to the cost in your area. Please subscribe to this channel for more impactful videos all about microlocs. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.